What's going on, guys? This is my post-ride review of the Honda NT1100. Gotta send a huge shout out to Hunter, Tommy, and the rest of the gang over at Stubbs Cycles for allowing me to bring this bike to you. In the description below, you will find a link to the ride-along video. That way you can see this machine in action and you can get my reaction to it in real time. So what is the NT1100? Well, by my estimation, it's Honda's attempt to try to make the ultimate all-weather commuter bike. So how did they go about doing this? Well, they took their already very well-received Africa Twin platform with the DCT transmission and lowered the suspension, gave it more street-oriented wheels and tires, and a few other modifications. And what that summed out to is a motorcycle that handles much better than the Africa Twin on the street. It's got a much lower seat height, therefore it's accessible to a much broader range of riders. Makes this motorcycle much more confidence inspiring in low speed and parking lot maneuvers. So already off to a good start. But what's this thing like to actually get down the road? Well, it does have the same 100 horsepower parallel twin that comes in the Africa Twin and in the Rebel 1100. It is only available with the DCT transmission though, where the Africa Twin and the Rebel 1100 are available with a manual option. You don't get that with the NT. But it's a commuter bike. Do you necessarily want a clutch with this bike that's probably going to be stuck in traffic as much as it is on the highway? That's for you to decide. But I can tell you that with my time on this bike, man, that DCT is pretty good. It's very intuitive with how it shifts. And paired with that 100 horsepower parallel twin, it moves that 550 pound bike around just fine. Matter of fact, it was surprisingly good. I've ridden the Africa Twin and I've ridden the Rebel 1100, and the DT 1100 seems to get down the road with the same type of gait as the Rebel 1100. It's quicker feeling than the Africa Twin. It certainly handles a lot better, but it's surprisingly more spirited. Now, how do they go about that? I don't know. Is it in throttle mapping? Is it in gearing? Whatever it is, that NT1100 was a bit more spirited than I had given it credit for at first glance. To give you an example, so in the ride-along video, I'm cruising down the highway at about 75 miles an hour. I go to grab a handful of throttle and it goes from 75 miles an hour to entry-level triple-digit speeds in a manner that I was not expecting. I mean, it's definitely quicker than what I had thought that it was going to be. So that's a plus. It's always fun when motorcycles exceed your expectations, but in this case, I was rather surprised. Not just in how well this bike ran, but just how intuitive that DCT transmission was going down the highway. So what about its slower speeds? Well, what I did in the ride-along video is I took the motorcycle to the back lot of Stubbs Harley-Davidson, where there is a Motorcycle Safety Foundation course lined out. And you will see me putting this motorcycle through some slow speed maneuvers, and it does exceptionally well. I get it, there were some teething problems with this transmission at some point earlier on in its development. None of the bikes I've ridden with that technology have given me any reason for pause. They're very smooth, very slick shifting transmissions. Now, I will say that in sport mode, it has a tendency to hang on to gears maybe a little bit longer than it should, but that being said, it's sport mode. In normal drive mode, it's extremely intuitive, much like you would expect in your daily driven car. So overall impressions, I think that it is the ultimate daily commuter. And it is very built for purpose, but more to the point, it's built with value in mind. You see, this motorcycle only checks in at $12,000 MSRP. Now, you don't get a lot of technology. I mean, you get the connectivity with Apple CarPlay, you get various rider modes, a great looking TFT screen, and there's also a 12-volt port and a USB port, so charging and gadgets, that's not a problem to power with this thing. But what you don't get are things like power actuated windscreens. That's manually actuated, and going down the road there's a technique that anyway, it does have an adjustable front windscreen. The suspension itself is rather basic with only preload being adjustable, but again, For this type of bike, I don't know that you would need all of the extra high dollar gadgets and gizmos. I think for a value conscious, more of a commuter style bike that you're going to be racking up miles, you're going to be in traffic, you're going to be in the weather, you're going to be on the road with this bike, but mainly in an urban to and from kind of a scenario, I think this bike's set up great. And again, with value in mind at $12,000, you don't have to give up some level of performance and fun in your commuter just to get that kind of versatility. So in that, I think Honda did a great job. Overall, I would say it's a better commuter than what you would find in an adventure bike. It's lighter, or at least it feels lighter because it's lower, so certainly more sure-footed, handles better, much easier in low-speed maneuvering, and I think that this segment is going to become a lot more popular for a lot of folks that are looking to get away from that adventure bike segment, get something that is more street-oriented and more fun in their daily commute. But guys, if you made it this far, I truly appreciate you hanging out with me. Considering hitting that like and subscribe button, it helps the channel out a ton. Post up your comments, let me know what you think about this bike, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care.